Good evening. Coventry City Football Club have announced they're one step closer towards securing a permanent new home. They're in talks with the owner of the Speedway Stadium at Brandon, just outside the city.
The Sky Blues say they've agreed terms on one site within 6 miles of the city centre and are holding exclusive talks over a second site. They're hoping to finalise a deal within the next 8 weeks. Ian Winter is at the Speedway Stadium this evening. What more can you tell us, Ian?
Mary, Friday night is Speedway night here at Brandon, and behind me in the pits, Coventry Bees up against the Birmingham Brummies. And come and have a look at this. One day, could you see the possibility of this stadium hosting Coventry City Football Club? The stadium freehold is up for sale. The Sky Blues would like to buy it, but Rugby Borough Council have heard nothing, and certainly the local residents will be sure to oppose planning permission if that ever came to pass, because they wouldn't want to see football played here in this residential suburb of Coventry. Coventry City are going to the Dogs. At least that's where they'd like to go. But Coventry Stadium at Brandon isn't just about greyhound racing. It's also been the home of Coventry Speedway since 1928. The Sky Blues have yet to confirm this is their preferred site, but terms have been agreed and they're aiming to finalise a deal within 8 weeks. In a statement, Coventry City's Chief Executive Tim Fisher says, "We have a clear path to return to the Coventry area. Once we have agreement on a site, we'll begin a consultation process with our supporters." But if the football club does buy the freehold off stadium owner Aftar Sandhu, they face a number of hurdles. Because Coventry Greyhounds still have another 4 years to run on their lease, Coventry Speedway signed up for the next 10 years, and then there's the thorny issue of whether football would ever get planning permission here. Half a mile from the stadium, Sue Walton has been living on Rugby Road in Binley Woods for the past 20 years.
The road's not big enough to cope with all the traffic. I don't know where they'd put all the traffic. There's nowhere for them to park. It would be hell.
We wouldn't be able to get in or out of the place. Unless you change the road systems totally, it'd be a nightmare, I should think.
Rugby Borough Council says there have not been any discussions with Coventry City Football Club regarding the club's potential occupation of Brandon Stadium or the planning implications that may result. Coventry City may have played their last game at the Ricoh Arena, but there's clearly a long way to go before they're watering a new football pitch at Brandon. So, what do the sitting tenants make of today's developments? Here they are. Harry Finley is the owner of Coventry Dogs, and Mick Horton is the promoter of Coventry Bees. Harry, let's come to you first. What's your reaction to what you've seen and heard today?
Very understandable, really. I mean, I'm sure Mick will agree that this whole stadium is almost unique in the country, and certainly from a viewing perspective. And that was certainly one of the very major attractions, what got me involved with greyhound racing here. And as a big football fan, I can only see it as good news. Whether or not it will be happening any time quickly is another matter. I think that unlike the Speedway and the greyhounds, as a sort of infrastructure getting here and crowd problem, that, as you quite rightly mentioned, the residents won't be too happy with. But overall, the Speedway's got a 10-year lease. We've got 4 years left, but looking to extend by another 5. The Speedway and greyhound racing is fantastic, and the football, you know, for me it's a good thing.
OK, Harry, let's move on to Mick as well. Should Coventry Bees fans be worried, Mick, do you think?
No, not at all. Not at all. As Harry says, you know, we're here for 10 years, you know, and we've had some reassurance from the landlord, and we'll continue on that way. Because
the historical connections between Brandon and Coventry Speedway are immense. Go back to 1928.
1928, yes. I mean, it's steeped in history. You know, this is a speedway venue, and it's a fantastic venue. And I say, yeah, you know, we get good crowds, and Harry's experiencing good crowds as well. So, you know, we're looking for it to continue that way.
Have you had calls? Have you had people commenting to you about this possibility once it broke that Coventry City are definitely in talks with Brandon Stadium?
Yes, I mean we're always getting calls for that, but you know, and I'm just reassuring them. You know, it's business as usual here for Speedway.
And that's a fact, is it? So we're continuing with tonight's match against the Birmingham Brummies.
Well, we'll continue tonight with a victory for the Bees, and we'll continue for another 10 years.
Excellent. Mick, thanks very much indeed. Harry as well. Coventry City say they're having exclusive talks with the owners of a second site as well, which makes it interesting indeed. The new season, by the way, starts a week tomorrow, and Coventry's first home game in the football season will be at Northampton on August the 10th.
Ian Winter, thank you.